Thank you, Booby. Anyway, and yes, I was muted. How silly of me. Anyway, welcome to my channel, Hades Corner, with me, Heidi, and um, of course, here in the studio with me are Bertil. Bertil is a moving forefather. Do we have in the Okay. Anyway, can you hear? Did you hear the clapping, the sound effect? Because I'm not so sure. You may or may not have. Did you hear that? Okay. Anyway, Bertil is my co-host. Lovely darling. Um, and Stefan is my other well, my other co-host. He had to wait all the time, all the 2 weeks and change we were on the road with Bertil, and Morran was actually there too. Mm. And a very, very big thank you to my patron Flems. Flems has been my patron for a very long time. Um, anyway, just please indicate whether you can, uh, let's see, hear this. Did you hear the sound? Please let me know if you heard the sound effect. You may or may not have, heard. I don't know. You let me know, because I have has issues with my audio. Nothing. Okay. Mm, how about now? How about now? Because I've had this huge issues with that worked. Okay, wonderful. Anyway, we've been planning some things for Bertil, haven't we? We have been planning for to getting Bertil his own uh, sleeping space, or whatever you want to call it. His own bed and a little light there for him. Um, there in in a a drawer, in an open space under a drawer there. But hey, who knows? And of course, we have this lovely little uh, lamb, I think that it is, which I got from my longtime viewer Jens, with whom we met in early May, which would have been 3 months ago. Um, it was wonderful. Okay. Anyway, what is feminine enough for a woman, or let's say a cis woman, or any woman, trans feminine, uh, a transgender, a binary cisgender or binary transgender woman? There is no such thing. There are just butthurt people. Hmm? Um, you know when uh, you lose a bet, you come second or third in a competition. Um, you're pissed. You may be a bit ashamed because you prepped and practiced for who knows how long and who knows how much. Hmm? This applies to both individual sports or team sports, whether it be track and field, soccer, uh, or football, as we say here in Europe, uh, skiing, cross country skiing, uh, well, or martial arts like judo, and then or ice hockey, etc., etc. When you lose, it stings. Whether it's a bet, a game of sports, a game of chess, in a game of poker, you know, etc. It's not. Yes, exactly. Sport is not about winning. It's about taking part, precisely. But then there are those who are so competitive and so mm, compulsive enough that they get intensely butthurt. And in question of minors, maybe elementary school, when the athletes are maybe in elementary school, junior high, maybe ages of 10, 9, 8, 10 to 15, 16, 15, 16, 17, something like that. Um, it's not, the younger the athlete is, um, when the athlete grows up, there's a shift. In older athletes, say 16, 15, 16 and older, um, unless it's cheerleading, but in any other form of sports or athletics, when you're 15, 16, 17 and up, the one getting pissed or bitter is not is you. But the younger the athletes, the more it shifts towards the parents. The parents of the athletes who get bitter, angry, frustrated. They've been prepping their kid for who knows how long for a competition, and then the child become ends up, second, third, fourth place. So there are certain parents who take it to the next level after a short break. Okay, This is from lgbtqnation.com, August 18th. So, from yesterday. Um, Parents of second and third place. Remember what I just said. Parents of a set of second and third place girls filed complaint against winner, claiming she's transgender. However, she's cisgender, but that didn't parents from saying she doesn't look feminine enough and starting state investigation. And I can tell you, when I read this article, I was just baffled. I mean, this is so bizarre. I mean, this is just so bizarre. Okay, I need a drink. This is Leffe brown Leffe, which I've been consuming previously on my live shows. It's a Belgian Abbey style brown ale type beer. I think it's ale type. Yeah, it's a brown. Uh, Hints of caramel and something. No. Anywho, this okay. And this, in theory, let me make this very clear. As far as I can tell, in situations where trying to determine the sex of the athlete, the the this happened in the state of Utah, and as far as I can tell, the anti-trans law, or the legislation in the state of Utah may may constitute, it may constitute, or in certain circumstances, if not always, requires, in order to determine the sex of the athlete, an investigation of the genital of the person's genitals. And mind you, and here, the state official, or the person who was commenting, making an official statement as by the state, or the state official stated that there was no, implicated that there was no way in hell they were going to investigate the genitals of this poor cisgender girl, or anyone for that matter. I mean, the ban on trans, feminines, and girls, women requires this. And these parents, because they were so butthurt that their kids placed second and third, that they wanted to have the winner's genitals inspected. This poor girl. Okay. Yeah. Uh, girls of Parents of the girls who got second and third place in a sporting event. The type of sports and the age and the area, specific area, was never revealed, because this is because the matter is such, intrusive, to say the least. That the first place winner, that to have her gender investigated, and she is a cisgender girl, and cisgender person is someone whose gender identity is consistent with the sex assigned at birth. In contrast, a transgender person like myself, the gender identity is opposite to that assigned at birth. Jens says, like Trump, if I lose, it's because the others cheated. Yes. And these parents are like, our kids lost because the others are cheating. The okay, David Spatafore of the Utah High School. This is actually could be high school anyway. Utah High School Activities Association is in charge of enforcing um, the state's new ban on transgender girls participating in school sports as their gender. While Mr. Spatafore wouldn't reveal the sport she played or the school she attended in order to protect her privacy, Mr. Spatafore said he was forced to investigate her gender. Apparently, he didn't want to, but because the complaint was made based on the new law, he had to. He was forced by law to investigate at the when at the complaint, but due to the complaint. He said that he also received some other complaints about her, including one that said that female athlete doesn't look feminine enough. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on, you fucking wankers. I mean, and he said, and Spatafore said, the school went back to kindergarten, and she'd always been a female. He said, yeah. Yeah, she's a cisgender girl. Okay. Oh yeah, sorry, it was Idaho that requires genital examination. I mean, this is just how should I put this? Beyond sick. Hmm? Beyond horrible. Okay. LGBTQ advocates have been warning about this for years, as these bans have been made, that these complaints could be made if the losing student athletes families chose to do so. Uh, I mean, Utah and yeah. Anyway, the state of Utah passed the transgender sports law earlier this year, and this case is the first to test the law. Spatafore, this David Spatafore of the Utah High School Activities Association, or um, UHSAA. Um, Let me go. That they are trying to follow the ban, and he said that the school records are enough. Yeah, Mr. Spatafore said that the school records are enough to satisfy the law, and I quote, because if all of the questions are if all questions about eligibility were answered by the school or the feeder system schools, there was no reason to make it a personal situation with the family or that athlete. Yeah. Apparently, they just didn't wanna. They didn't wanna do it, so they did it with, they just stayed the hell out of that poor little girl and the family. They said they're just trying to. Okay, okay. So he said to Deseret News that, quite frankly, this is new ground for us. Well, it's new ground for quite a number of people. And he's not going to say that we have it down pat. because I have no clue. I don't think any of us in the office have a clue if we have it down pat. What we want to do is we just want to try to do our job. Yeah, this poor man just doesn't want to do it, but he just has to, apparently. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The state legislature passed the HB 11, the anti-trans bill, uh, the transgender sports ban earlier this year, and the governor, Spencer Cox, quite a quite a quite a fitting name in for this particular um, issue. Um, in March, he Spencer Cox is apparently a Republican and tried to vetoed the bill, saying that, and I quote, it will likely bankrupt the Utah High School Athletic Association and result in millions of dollars in legal fees for local school districts. The legislature overrode his veto. In June, families of two transgender girls in the state filed a lawsuit challenging the sports ban, arguing that the bill was based on unfounded stereotypes, fears, misconceptions about girls who are transgender. It is not supported by medical and scientific evidence. None of that bullshit is. None of that bullshit with these anti-trans dipshits say it is. But theory, I mean, dear people. Sometimes sometimes I just wonder why I don't do this because I mean, these people, they are so thick. They're so thick. They will never. And I wonder if these people will ever even. These will these people ever even learn? And if they do, how much and when? I mean, will they learn within in the next decade? In the next decade or two, will they, or will I be? I'm 35 now, or will I be gone by the time? Will I be gone already? Of old age? Will I pass away of old age before these people learn and make a change? It just makes me uh, so frustrated, to say the least. Something good news. Andrew Tate was um, banned from all from the platforms owned by Meta. Uh, this means Facebook and Instagram because he's a dipshit. He's an asshole. He was banned. His most some of his most important um, platforms where he spews out his hate. That is always a good. That's always something positive. No, dick shit gets banned from somewhere. Okay, so peace. Jens says we all need to learn. They need to catch up. The more we spread the word, the sooner they'll they'll have to learn. Yeah, exactly. The sooner because they will eventually learn that, notice that for some reason, excuse me, I have this RGB on this my mouse mat, and it doesn't really like me as a part now. Do we have? Ah, no, there we have it. Because at some point, even these most dipshitty people need to they'll notice that they have to pick up their boat that they'll have to pick up their fat ass and move on with their lives and catch up to the 21st century from that from wherever 2000 year old 3000-year old mindset they are, or at least give up the the cognitive dissonance. Anyway, please leave a comment downstairs. No, I mean under the video in the comment section. It could be like it could be battle, it could be space comma, it could be Mr. 42. I don't care. Something. Just comment something. What comment something. I don't care what it is. Just comment something because it helps feed the algorithm. Anyway, I haven't yet really answered the question of the stream. What is what is what is it that is too what is how it, the title limits for femininity in sports. There there aren't any. There aren't any. Um, let's have a look. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's there. Here we have female body types. Here let's have it. I mean, anyway, here we have all kinds of women. Um, yes, many of them look very feminine, but not all of them necessarily. I mean, Caster Semenya, for example, she had issues with. Okay, these are all Olympic athletes, cisgender female. These are all cisgender females. It, so yeah, in Olympic athletes. So all very different. None of them. Some of them may or may not be too very typically feminine. Um, but and here, uh, oh fuck you! Come on, I'm just trying to get. Yeah, and very masculine type of athletes too. So there is no such thing as too feminine or too masculine. This is um, okay. I mean, there are still some very androgynous athletes and very androgynous and masculine presenting uh, athletes. There's a Finnish former professional boxer. She's very masculine presenting, and she would definitely have been someone who would have been um, caught up in a frenzy like this had she been competing in the US. So there's there aren't any real limits to femininity in sports. There are only these a cisgender woman can present herself in very masculine, androgynous, or female or feminine way and still be just as valid as a female as she would be then compared in comparison to those her fellow females, as well as the trans women who present androgynous or feminine. There are no limits on what is femininity limits or limits for androgyny is the word I think. So it's the only limits are within those people's minds. They have the limits in their they have the limits on where femininity begins and where and ends, and when a cisgender girl isn't feminine enough. It's in their head. There is no real limits. They it's imagine it's they are making this shit up as they go. Hmm? Just because they have to uh, pretending to believe in this make believe this, and because they have to keep up with this cognitive dissonance they have that they need in order to believe all the shit that they do, because they need to have it their different beliefs need to be uh, in first of all internally consistent, uh, and then internally consistent and consistent with each other. So it's their problem, not ours. It's the limits are in the heads of the conservative dipshits. What are your opinions? And I'm just ranting here right now. What are your opinions on this? Peter says memory is a funny thing, and I like rabbit holes. Yeah. By the way, it's insanely hot here. Um, and I'm just trying to see, um, just how all this looks like in like real life, because I'm trying out something new, because I'm trying to see whether or not having different drivers um, would make any difference, because I think I need, well, too bad. I'll try better, more light next time, because right now I'm running on studio drivers, in versus the game ready drivers that I usually run. But it shouldn't be any different. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this? This this thing. I bought this smaller bottles from Denmark, and I still haven't had the time to do anything for a video or a sort of more color, putting stuff, some videos and pictures together from our trip to Sweden and Denmark. I have plenty, but honestly, I haven't had the time so far. So I have I have a couple of days off next week from my wheel work. So I may or may not try to push one out. Okay. And by the way, those who want, check out my Patreon. So links are in the description. So, any concluding thoughts before I go? Yeah, for tonight. Yeah, it's a Friday, I know, but I have work tomorrow. However, I'll start working. My shift starts at just after 1 p.m. So 1:20 p.m. I think. So someone's been no comments. No. By the way, it was super. I don't think I've actually shared my. I don't know. I might as well just at some point share my Instagram because I have some nice pictures there that I would like to share, but I have to figure out which um, stuff to then keep private from the public eye, or if someone cares too much. Yeah. Anyway, when we visited this lovely little pony, Alvin, and his fellow horses, uh, another pony, Humle, and Vida, big horse, and the lambs, unruly woolies, and then a dog. These bottles are too small. 20 point 0.25 liters. So usually those are 0.33 liters. Not too small, but they're very huge. Anyway, I think it's time for me to go for today, and this back in, and Stefan goes there, and Bertil comes to the bedroom with us. Anyway, I will see you on. I'll see you on Monday for another episode of News Reboot, and I will see you then. Bye.